afternoon and welcome to your 4 to 5. I'm Maddie Gardner here with Tahisha Moise and Tim Buckley, who's keeping a close eye on our forecast later this evening. Remember, this is an interactive news show. We are here to stay connected with you. We are live streaming right now on WFNY News 2's Facebook page. Join our conversation and use our hashtag 4 to 5.
The free face coverings are going fast here in the city of Greensboro. The city began handing out those free masks to people out in the community today. Now, the lines were so long at the United Way location on Yanceyville Street where they were handing out those masks that they had to start the process early. 2,000 masks available in that area were gone less than an hour into pickup.
It's been a struggle. Actually, we just left them over at United Way over on Yanceyville Street, and they actually were out of supplies. They do have a sign up that indicates that they're out. So we came down here to the municipal building. At the moment, they do have plenty.
The city says masks will not be available at the United Way until next Wednesday. Masks, though, are still available at the Melvin Municipal Building. They're hosting another pickup from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. tomorrow. The city says during their first wave of distribution, they plan to give out 17,000 masks.
Well, it's still beautiful outside right now, but carefully watching the line of storms that we've been talking about throughout much of the week. Right now, noticing some clouds over Greensboro. The main thing that you're finding when you step outside is really that the wind is starting to pick up in a big way. Right now, temperatures are in the upper 70s, close to 80 in some locations. There are a look at your current live wind gusts between 20 and 30 miles per hour. That's right now, and that's only going to increase going into tonight. I do want to show you the radar watching two lines of storms. The main line still back in Tennessee, but there's an additional little line that's forming in the upstate of South Carolina. That is headed toward the foothills a little bit earlier than anticipated. So by 6, 7, and 8 o'clock, the rain starts to come down hard in the foothill communities, but still for the triad, mainly looking at 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. for heavy rain, gusty winds, some damaging wind gusts, and that overall severe weather threat. So bottom line, we're going to be watching it for you overnight tonight. Have all of your loose outdoor objects tied down or bring them in. That's what I did today. I'd recommend you do the same thing. Overnight, that rain will be coming down hard. We'll have an update coming up in just a few minutes.
Coronavirus testing has increased over time, and now we have antibody testing as well. As state and federal leaders work to provide more tests, there is now a push to provide more antibody tests as well to help speed up the process.
Yeah, let's verify the differences in those two tests, though. First, our source is the Executive Deputy Director of Johns Hopkins Medical Center, Dr. Michael Borowitz. He says COVID-19, that test is molecular. It's the standard nose swab that we've seen and we're familiar with. Borowitz says the nasal swab is the only way someone knows if they currently have the virus or if they're contagious. But the downfall to that test is it takes a day or so to get the results back.
Antibody tests give you results in minutes. The test lets doctors know if a patient's body has antibodies to fight against a virus and possible plasma development to fight symptoms. Antibodies, though, do not mean a patient is immune to the virus. Borowitz says the problem with this test is you don't know if someone is over the virus yet.
You don't know for sure when you have somebody who has antibodies is whether or not they're still infectious. So if they've had the disease and they've developed antibodies, they may or may not still be infectious.
We can verify that the molecular test shows if you have the virus and the antibody test shows if you've had the virus. Borowitz says if researchers figure out if someone is immune to the virus through that antibody testing, it could help manage where those people go and help control the virus. Well, researchers at Oxford University hope to have their coronavirus vaccine ready by September. Human trials are already underway. Researchers say technology developed for other viruses, including a relative of the novel coronavirus, really put them ahead. The virus was tested on monkeys who were heavily exposed to the virus, and now more than 1,000 people are participating in human trials.
Quest Diagnostics is the next company to offer at-home antibody tests. You can request yours online by going to questdirect.com. Now that test, though, does require approval. Once approved, test results can be found on the MyQuest portal, and results will be available within 1 to 2 days. Quest follows closely behind LabCorp, which was given emergency FDA approval for its at-home test kits. Keep chatting with us in the WFMY News 2 Facebook stream. We are heading to break, but the 4 to 5 will continue when we come back. Hello, mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10. All right. Yeah. No, those are irrelevant numbers, okay?
All right, let's be honest. Working from home, it can be a pain in the neck, or the back for that matter. Sitting in chairs like this all day, or sitting on the couch, it's not the best for your body. And if you're feeling like you're in a pinch because of the pinch, you're not alone.
Absolutely. Anybody who works on a computer on a regular basis usually complains about neck pain, looking forward, reaching with their neck, fatigue, you start slouching. So it starts to really tighten up the muscles.
Jessica Hightower is a physical therapist at Cone Health Outpatient Orthopedic Rehabilitation at Greensboro. She says a few simple changes can really make a difference.
The first thing I would say is get up and move. That's the easiest thing to do, is to get lost in your work and sit for 2-3 hours without ever getting up and moving. So you fatigue and you start slouching.
Try setting a few alarms on your phone to remind you to get up and move.
The other thing would be check your ergonomics. Sit in a chair with a back that you can lean on. Make sure that your computer is at eye level so that you're not reaching. Make your font bigger if you're having a hard time seeing so that you don't have to reach forward.
Hightower even gave us a few stretches to ease the pain.
So the first one is to stretch the hamstrings, the back of your thigh. Big muscle group that attaches and pulls from your lower back. So sending one leg straight out in front of you, toes up towards the ceiling on the edge of your seat with a nice straight spine, leaning forward to really feel a good pull all the way down the back of the leg. So holding onto the back of a chair just for a little bit of balance. Take a big step back with one foot and put your foot flat behind you with it pointed straight forward. Standing up tall through your chest and lunging towards your chair will help increase a stretch through the front of your leg and up into your hip. The last one is to really help with the upright posture, take you out of the slouch and reach forward towards the computer, the desk, whatever you're working on. So you take a step forward with one foot towards the wall, put your hands on the wall and reach up overhead as long as you can, resting your forehead on the wall and just feeling the stretch under your arms to open up your posture.
And you're going to want to hold those stretches for about 30 seconds. Hightower says if the pain really is unbearable, you should get some help from a professional. Tahisha, I tell you what, when I started working from home, I really started feeling the neck and back pain because I was sitting in a chair I wasn't used to, or maybe sitting on my couch to do work. I found that standing up at my countertop actually helps relieve some of that.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I feel like I figured out how old I am as I started working from home. I'm not as young as I thought I was because my back is killing me. Even the way that I have to sit in this chair to broadcast live from my living room, I'm actually having to straighten my spine by itself. If I slouch down, this is actually the most comfortable for me, but obviously it doesn't look the best, but definitely will use those tips. Great story, Maddie.
Yeah, I already put them, by the way, the step-by-step instructions that Hightower gave us on our website, WFMY News 2. So you can check that out, and the videos will be up there after the show. All right, we are going to break, but we are not stopping our Facebook live stream, and we want you to join our conversation. Hop on over to the comment section and use our hashtag 4to5.
Hello, mic check 1, 2, 3. I just plugged in my microphone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Mic check, mic check. Cool.
WFMY News 2 is honoring seniors who might be graduating and missing out on those celebrations. We are calling it the Senior Shout Out.
Yes, and today we are shouting out 3 teenagers, starting with Natalie Brown, who is a senior at Page High School in Greensboro. She excels in both academics and athletics. She is a member of the IB program and multiple honor societies. Natalie also played varsity softball for 4 years and was the 2019 Metro 4A Conference Softball Pitcher of the Year. She plans to study nursing at either UNC Chapel Hill or East Carolina University. Troy Castro is an honor student at Surrey Central High School. He's played football there all 4 years. And get this, he has had perfect attendance for 12 straight school years. Wow.
Evan Andrews is a senior at New Garden Friends School. His family says he loves sports. He's been a varsity soccer player and co-captain all 4 years of high school. Evan plans to attend UNC Asheville in the fall. So if you want to share your senior shout out with us, just find this submission form on our website. Make sure you submit a photo of your senior, but we're trying to stay clear of professional photos, so the iPhone will do. Let us know their name and their school, and you can also include a personal message with your shout out.
Well, another organization wants to help shout out not just one senior, but all seniors. WFMY News 2's Amanda Ferguson spoke to the Greensboro Swarm, who really wanted to send that special shout out. Amanda? Looks like we're having some technical difficulties there. We'll try to check in with Amanda later, but some big names are now coming together to make high school seniors across the country feel special. Oprah Winfrey is preparing a commencement speech for the graduating class of 2020 and is going to deliver it on May 15th. Now others are joining Oprah, including Simone Biles, Miley Cyrus, Aquafina, Jennifer Garner, and Lil Nas X. They'll be part of a multi-hour live stream on Facebook Watch and on Instagram. They're also going to be showing videos and photos of the members of the class of 2012. They'll be displayed alongside messages from deans and principals.
Actor John Krasinski is getting in on the action as well. He is going to be hosting a virtual graduation with seniors across the country. Now, just a few weeks ago, he hosted an online prom as part of his Some Good News initiative that he posts regularly on YouTube. It's his way of highlighting positive things that are happening during this pandemic. So right now, he's currently looking for a valedictorian and a commencement speaker for his virtual graduation. He says the graduation is open to everyone, 5th graders, 8th graders, high schoolers, and college graduates alike. Now, to be considered a speaker, all you have to do is send a video of you and what you would say and post that on Twitter or Instagram and tag him in it. There is no graduation date on the books just yet. But Maddie, I think this really is just a great way to make these graduates feel special in a time where, you know what, they aren't getting their special day in the traditional way. So the least we can do is have something special for them. Yeah,
and I think the Some Good News prom that John Krasinski threw, it seemed to be a great success. A lot of high schoolers showed up to that virtually. So I'm sure he has some similar plans in mind. He invited a lot of celebrities. You know, if they don't get their celebrity fix, they're Oprah's giving a commencement address to everyone. I really love how celebrities are stepping up to make it a special time for them.
Right, and with the Some Good News, he's been posting every Sunday, so we're hoping to hear a little bit more, maybe going into this weekend, hopefully to nail down a date for his virtual graduation. But as we heard, the one that Oprah's a part of, that's going to be on May 15th.
Yeah. All right, now I have a question for all of you. Who is your dream commencement speaker? You can let us know in the chat section of this live stream video on WFMY News 2's Facebook page. Who would you want to speak at your graduation ceremony? We'll check those comments there.
Hi, mic check. Am I still frozen? I think it's because I just got a phone call. Mic check. It's plugged in. Can you hear me? Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Huh. Mic check. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Weird. Is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Better, better, better. Maybe. Okay. Unplugging and plugging back in is nice to be back. Okay.
Well, you can now hop on a fixed route bus in Greensboro, but earlier today, the Greensboro Transit Authority stopped those services for several hours. WFMY News 2's Adoria Chumba learned this is after a bus driver tested positive for coronavirus and drivers walked out.
For several hours, Greensboro Transit Agency buses were packed here all day instead of running their routes. Officials tell me they were getting washed and disinfected after one of the drivers tested positive for coronavirus. Greensboro Transit Agency suspended most of its public transportation service after a bus driver tested positive for coronavirus on Monday. Due to state and federal laws, health information is confidential, so GTA or any employer in this type of situation isn't required to identify the person who's sick. GTA said the driver was last at work on Thursday and has been out of service and their work area clean. Bus riders, though, didn't get the notice and were left on their own.
Myself, as depending on the public transportation, will have to take a taxi cab myself back and forth to work. And actually, from my house to my job, that's almost $37.
GTA said staff and bus operators were notified, but some expressed concern about not knowing the employee's identity, citing their own safety, and walked off the job Wednesday.
You know, of course, we understand the concerns that the operators have, but that is why Keolis made sure to do, go through the protocols of cleaning and disinfecting.
And just before 3 this afternoon, GTA announced that its fixed route services were back up and running as normal. GTA also added that SCAT is providing limited service.
Audrey, thank you. Let's check back in with Amanda Ferguson.
The Greensboro Swarm want to let you know they're thinking about you, especially the class of 2020 who got their last high school experiences ripped away by coronavirus. Swarm guard and former NC State player has a message for seniors.
This is Terry Henderson of the Greensboro Swarm, NBA G League affiliate of the Charlotte Hornets. Just want to send a special message, special shout out, and a special congratulations to everyone in the class of 2020 for making it this far and for making it to y'all goals, man. This has been a crazy time period for not only for you guys, but for everybody around the world. But just understanding that this time will end soon. And, just understanding that, being able to take advantage of this time, this quarantine time with your friends, your family, also practicing social distancing, but still finding out new hobbies and new interests that might carry over to things after this whole pandemic is over with. But like I said, just sending a special congratulations, not only from myself, but from my teammates, everyone in the Swarm organization and Hornets organization, to you guys, class of 2020. You guys are the best, man. Just stay positive, stay healthy, stay motivated, and wish you all the best.
A nice message from him. The Swarm says their staff is encouragement to Guilford County School students. They just want to show their support to everyone.
The Department of Defense released some cockpit video of the U.S. Navy Blue Angels and U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds. This was as they flew over New York City on Tuesday. The flight was a tribute to those frontline healthcare workers that we all appreciate so very much. The planes flew over New York, New Jersey, and Philadelphia, and the pilots must fly a certain number of hours in order to participate in this formation. Squads have canceled a number of flights, though, since the coronavirus outbreak.
That is the coolest video. All right, this is cool too. A team at NASA is working on a ventilator prototype, and it's made of 80 different parts, and they're designing it to give the body more oxygen at higher pressure. The ventilators are going through tests at Mount Sinai Hospital in New York. Doctors say so far they've been a success. NASA now needs FDA approval and manufacturers who can help with mass production.
The wind is whipping up. Maybe you're noticing this outside your window. Things are going to start to blow around. I'll tell you what, I have trash day tomorrow. I'm not putting my cans out tonight, and I don't recommend that you do it either. Do it in the morning when the winds start to die down, because this is going to be a windy night. All of us are going to have winds gusting between 30 and 40 miles per hour. In thunderstorms, you could get some gusts that are higher than that. Here's where those storms are right now. Two lines, one back in Tennessee, that's the main line, and then another a little bit ahead of that. That's going to push into the foothills by 6 and 7 and 8 o'clock. Probably not severe, but we'll keep an eye on that rain for you. And then by 10 o'clock, that's when things start to get closer to the Piedmont Triad. Then by midnight and 2 a.m., we start to see more rain, winds start to pick up, and maybe some severe storms in there. Then by 4 and 5 and 6 in the morning, that's when things are starting to move on out. As far as impacts, we're talking about flooding, number 1, damaging winds, number 2. Those are the two biggies that I'm watching for tonight. The tornado risk is low, and there shouldn't be any hail. So those are the two things that I'm mainly watching for tonight. Rainfall is going to be intense, about 1 inch to 2 inches. That's why I think that we could see some of that flooding here locally. The good news, it gets a little quieter after this. The weekend is looking great for Saturday and for Sunday.
Hey, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie.
Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4 to 5. Mic check. What about now? Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Mic check, 1, 2. Sounds good.
And welcome back to your 4 to 5. I'm Maddie Gardner with Dehasia Moise and Tim Buckley this afternoon. Everyone is live and they're home, so it's good to see you guys even through the monitors. Tim is going to be filling us in on the forecast. That could be a little bit tricky later tonight, so we'll keep you updated there. Remember, this is an interactive news show. We are here to connect with you. That means we are live streaming on our Facebook page. Join our conversation. Use our hashtag 4 to 5.
As we continue to cope with the uncertainty coronavirus created, hospital chaplains are working to bring peace of mind to patients and their families, and also medical workers during this crisis. WFMY News 2's Grace Holland spoke with one of those chaplains about what has changed about his counsel and what hasn't.
David Howard started here at Novant Health Kernersville Medical Center when it opened, and he says the way that he talks to people who need his counsel has changed in recent weeks, but the message remains the same.
Because hospitalizations can be a difficult time. They're a time of uncertainty, a time of sometimes pain, and sometimes just a sense of darkness.
Hospital chaplains are often a voice in that darkness, and now they're speaking to patients and their families from more of a distance than usual.
In many cases, we'll pick up the phone and call them on the telephone, or if possible, sometimes we'll just stand in the door and speak with patients.
David Howard says the conversations aren't that much different than usual, but he sees the coronavirus creating anxiety, not just for patients and families, but for healthcare workers.
They're still, trying to figure out exactly what's going on. They are and very much on the forefront or in the front lines of it. So they see it a little more personally, you might say, than some other folks out there.
He says this is a time when faith in whatever you believe can make a difference. For Howard, it's the 23rd Psalm.
In the midst of sometimes walking through very, very dark and difficult places, God is with us. God walks with us in this journey.
Howard also tells me that the outpouring of community support, whether through food deliveries or through sidewalk chalk drawings, has meant so much to everyone here at the hospital. In Kernersville, Grace Holland, WFMY News 2.
Officials with the CDC are recommending that everyone wear face masks even if you aren't sick. And there are some communities working to get their residents masks, like the city of Greensboro and also Winston-Salem, but those masks are going out pretty quick. That's why WFMY News 2's Ben Briscoe shows you how to make your own mask.
Those face masks are so important right now that the Surgeon General put out new guidelines on how you can actually make them from stuff you already have at home. You can get those by texting the word mask to the number right there at the bottom of your screen. But how easy is it really to do? Well, let's put it to the 2 test. Look, I'm a dude who really only knows how to sew like a button on a jacket or something like that. So if I can do it, you can do it. Here's how simple it is. You start with some old fabric you have. This is from a t-shirt that we cut up. You fold the top part down, you fold the bottom part, you flip it over, and you do that again. And this is where the sewing part comes in. You're supposed to sew right here and right here. But in the interest of time and to show how easy it can be, I got some tape. So we're gonna use that instead for this demonstration. So you tape both those sides, then you use some hair ties that you have around the house. Well, not me because I'm bald, but you might have them. Then you put them right here on the sides and you fold that in just like that. And that is where you sew again, or in our case, another piece of tape. And look at that. You have a mask right there in just a few seconds that you can wear in public. You hook those around your ears and you are good to go. So once you got your mask, you need to know you can only wear it once outside before it should be washed. That's why the Surgeon General recommends making 3 or 4 for each person in your household. That way you can rotate them out. Here's another important trick about making sure that mask fits your face right. You want it to cover above your nose and all the way down here, just a little bit under your chin. And one final note here, health experts say, please do not try to buy the N95 medical grade mask. We need to save those for our healthcare workers on the front lines.
Still beautiful outside, a lot of sun, but you've noticed the change. It's the wind. The wind is starting to pick up out there. Winds are coming in really from the south and from the west at about 20 to 30 miles per hour already, and that's only going to go up for tonight. It's also very warm. We're close to 80 in parts of the Piedmont Triad right now. Clouds will be increasing this evening. There's a live look at wind gusts, as I mentioned, generally between 20 and 30 right now. Now, that's not going to cause any damage, but overnight, with storms rolling by, they could pick up those winds to 40 plus and maybe 60 plus in some thunderstorms if they're able to form. Here's the latest radar. 2 lines, one in Tennessee, one near Greenville, South Carolina. That's what I'm watching right now. None of that is severe at this time, but we'll keep an eye on that for you. Arrival will be first in the foothills between 6 and 8 and 9 o'clock. You'll start to get some rain out that way. Here in the Triad, we're mainly waiting until 9, 10, and 11 o'clock before any rain, and the main threat of storms is around midnight. Mainly looking at flooding and gusty, damaging winds as our biggest threats overnight. Keep it with us for coverage. We'll be here throughout the storm.
Let's get you caught up on the headlines this afternoon with your 4 to 5 roundup. The NCAA is moving forward with the plan that will allow college athletes to earn money for endorsements, among other things. The Board of Governors chairman called it an unprecedented move by the NCAA. It is not finalized, though. Legislation still needs to be drafted by October 30th, and then a formal vote will be taken by schools at the next convention in January. Those new rules would go into effect no later than the 2021-22 academic year. Class action lawsuits have been filed against UNC Charlotte and the entire UNC system. The lawsuits allege the universities charged students thousands of dollars in tuition and fees and then switched to remote learning because of COVID-19 and did not reimburse students. The lawsuit is looking to get refunds for the plaintiff as well as the other members of the classes on a prorated base, along with some other damages. The CDC is now recommending pet owners also exercise social distancing guidelines when it comes to their animals. Now, I know it sounds odd, but essentially it means don't let your pet interact with pets from another house. And keep in mind, officials still believe the primary transmission of COVID-19 is person to person. But they are looking into how the virus spreads from animals to humans and vice versa, and say that still needs some more research. If a person in your family gets sick, the CDC says to isolate that person from everyone else in the family, including your pets. And for the first time in 6 years, the U.S. economy shrank. Last quarter, the economy fell by 4.8%. The GDP report shows that the weakness was led by plummeting consumer spending, which accounts for 70% of economic activity. Economists say the drop is just a precursor of what's to come for the next period due to business shutdowns and layoffs. The next period could be the worst on record. Well, Costco is rolling out some more changes to keep shoppers and employees safe. The company says all stores are now requiring customers to wear face masks. The new rule starts on May 4th, so we want to hear from you. Do you think shoppers should be required to wear masks inside stores? Go to the free WFMY News 2 app to vote or WFMY.com/vote now. Now, Costco's rule will not apply to children that are younger than 2 or anyone with a medical condition that prevents them from wearing a mask. But the story has many of you talking online. Our digital guru, Brian Bennett, is standing by to read some of those comments.
Yep, Maddie. So some people are clearly for the mask, other people not so much. Let's dive in to see exactly what you had to say. We're going to kick things off with Gigi. She says, I am 100% against mandating to wear a mask, while Cynthia, on the other hand, says everyone should wear masks, should be mandatory in stores. Linda says, I do not wear a mask and I'm not going to. While on the other hand, Elizabeth says, yes, I do wear a mask everywhere I go to protect myself and other people. Lastly, Angie says, I work in healthcare and I don't wear a mask or gloves in public. I keep my distance and wash my hands frequently. Simple as that. Now, a lot of people also up here, Maddie, were praising the Costco in Greensboro for actually being like one of the first stores that they went to that were actually practicing social distancing protocol. So they definitely got a shout out there.
Yeah, we have to do what's best for other people as well, right? Those masks protect other people if you cough or sneeze and you spread those germs. So interesting question here, Brian. We ask you on WFMY.com/vote now if you think stores should require masks. 83% of you say yes and 17% of you say no. We want you to keep chatting with this story on our Facebook page and our live stream, and we're also going to take a look at that vote coming up on WFMY News 2 at 5.
The coronavirus pandemic has me thinking a lot lately, in life about what's important and what's not. But for the last few days, I've been thinking to myself, what would this pandemic look like if it happened back in the 90s? Because things have changed a lot since then, right? I posted this question on my Facebook page to start a conversation with you, and it really was a great conversation with a lot of different viewpoints. So let's get into some of your comments on that post. Adrian writes here, I'm thinking better. We had way less internet usage, so misinformation and undereducated opinions would have been greatly neutralized. Governors would have been the best source of information, as they should be today. Ken Woods writes, we'd go crazy. Social media allows me to stay in contact with family and friends. I can stay on top of what's happening in my hometown, thanks News 2. And my son has been able to continue his education through apps like Zoom. Another comment here comes from Paula. She writes, people would not be spreading tons of misinformation on both sides as easily as they do now, since there's not Facebook and other social media platforms. I think some people would be less terrified and others less cynical. Now, I do see all of these viewpoints that people have been giving in, and the misinformation thing, Maddie, was the thing that kind of caught me off guard. I was thinking that a lot of people would go kind of Ken's route and saying, I can't connect with people, but there's a lot of misinformation that is going on right now on social media. So that's something that people would have been worried about, and that's not even on their mind in the 90s because it's not a thing.
Yeah, I didn't expect that either, Tahisha. I didn't even think about that until you read some of those comments, but it's a good point to bring up. Yeah, my mind went more toward the technology and not being able to stay connected. It also went to how many more people would have lost jobs, because you think of all the people who are working from home right now and how difficult that would have been with the internet speeds that we had in the 90s and the lack of available video conferencing platforms. My mind went there.
Right. I mean, you have to think about, you have an iPhone in your hand. You're able to, I'm broadcasting to you all live from my living room with an iPhone. I mean, a lot of people wouldn't have been able to do their jobs as they are right now.
Right. We are thankful for your iPhone right now and that it is working properly and we can see and hear you this afternoon, Tahisha. Love that technology.
All right, so I want you to check this out. Right now, if you owe money to North Carolina and you file by the new tax deadline, which is July the 15th, of course, right? Well, then you may have to pay interest on the tax money that you owe. Why is that? Well, the state right now is still going to charge you interest on that payment all the way back to April 15th.
Right. I remember you telling us about this, Tanya. It was a while back ago, but this is still happening. It's a thing.
Okay, so it is a thing, but here's the update here. Lawmakers are working on it, what their plan is now, and what they're doing now that they're back in session to make this not happen. That's coming up tonight at 6 o'clock. All right, Maddie, you're ready. I'm gonna quiz you here. I know you're gonna get this.
Okay.
Okay. So, does the IRS ever call you at home?
No.
No. All right, that would be a no. If someone says that they could get you your stimulus payment faster, quicker, would you believe them?
I would really want to believe them, but again, my answer is no.
She is right, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, and our expert also explains.
That is exactly what it is. The IRS will not contact you, neither will the federal government. If you receive any type of communication, email, telephone call, or in person, saying that they need something from you to receive this stimulus, it is a scam. Hang up the phone, do not answer the email.
That's right. All right, that was in our Q&A from yesterday. Tonight, we're taking more of your questions. Let's take a look. Our experts are from the Small Business Administration as well as the City of Greensboro. Text your questions to 336-379-5775. Remember, these are texts, not calls. What kind of help is available for your small business? It's tonight at 5:30.
All right. I hear you. You are tired about hearing about coronavirus all day, every day. So let's not talk about it for a bit. I asked you on my Facebook page to share some good news that has nothing to do with you know what, and you delivered. Todd Davis said Carolina football is ranked in the top 3 for recruiting. Mac is back. Yes, they are, Todd Davis. Lisa said today my son will pick up his cap and his gown, and he asked me to come be with him in the moment. That is awesome, Lisa. Mary McNeely Gann said we finished rebuilding our fire pit, ready for sitting around the fire and making some s'mores. That sounds delicious. And Sandra Shelton said the sun is shining and the sky is blue. Another day God gave us to use. All right, Taysha, you can't talk about you know what. What's the good news?
All right, my good news. I made homemade pesto and I had it yesterday and it tasted great. That's my good news. And I have leftovers.
Ooh.
That's really the good news. So I have dinner ready tonight.
That's perfect. Yeah, you don't have to worry about what you're going to eat for dinner. My good news is that I have cleaned off and reorganized my countertops. It doesn't seem like a big deal, I know, but it's making me really happy. Thank you.
No, when you see the clutter, you start to feel stressed. So I'm sure you feel a lot better looking at your counter.
Yeah, and coming up next, the closet is getting done. There's too much stuff in there, including my cat, who decided to climb on top of my hangers today. Listen, I have pictures to prove it. I don't know how it happened. It's not necessarily good news, but it did make me laugh, because how does he do that?
No, when you said your cat, I thought you were saying that you were going to have to do something with your cat to get rid of him.
No!
You said closet and cat, and I put those two together.
No, the cat is staying. The clutter in the closet is leaving. All right, we have to wrap. Let's check in with Tim.
Oh boy, you know, I have this big list of stuff I wanted to do at the beginning of quarantine, and it's still just as long as before. I need to get going. Working a lot on the weather, that's what I've been doing. We're looking at showers pushing in tonight. Not just showers, but really a driving car wash style rain. You know what I mean? Kind of coming down horizontal at times. That's what's going to be happening. And there is at least a low threat of some severe storms also. Our severe weather risk is pretty low. The threat for flooding is higher than that. We really could see some significant flooding happening, especially in our foothill and mountain communities. That's what I'm tracking for you. In the foothills, the rain starts to arrive really quickly between 6 and 8 o'clock. In the Triad, we wait a little longer, more like between 10 o'clock and midnight, and that shower chance really goes all the way through the overnight. So we'll add up a lot of rain. The winds will be really gusty. It is possible we could have some isolated power outages here and there. Have that plan ready to go for tonight if you get warnings. We have better weather going into the upcoming weekend. That's your forecast.
Let's take a look now at a trending conversation around the Carolinas. Myrtle Beach is reopening some beaches to the public. Now, recently, Governor Henry McMaster of South Carolina announced that beaches could reopen, but he left that decision up to local governments. North Myrtle Beach opened just after that announcement, but other parts of Myrtle Beach waited a bit. The city says access is available to the beach immediately, but it may take some time for workers to remove the barricades. People still need to follow social distancing guidelines when they're at the shore. Georgetown County, which is the neighboring county to Myrtle Beach, is waiting to reopen until May 1st. So you were commenting on this story on our Facebook page, WFMY News 2. Let's take a look at a few of your reactions here. Anna said, we all have the right to go see these public areas that are reopening, but make the right choice. If you go, you take the chance. Because they are open does not mean we are safe from this virus. And then she adds in all caps here at the end, use your head. Tater John Riley said, way too soon and not a good idea. North Carolina, stay closed. Kia Moore said this is not a smart idea. People from everywhere are going to come and bring their germs. She says it is not time yet. And Scott Blackman said, I lived in Greensboro for 29 years. I moved to Calabash recently. I love it down here, and today North Myrtle Beach was beautiful, sunshine, people walking, laying out, running and shelling, all social distancing, all acting civil and like adults. And then he says, shout out to High Point, Kernersville, and Greensboro. So yeah, I think if people can act smart, Deja, and keep their social distancing, it might not necessarily be a bad thing to have people out and running on the beach, getting their exercise. But again, that is a lot of responsibility in people's hands to keep their distance.
Right, and just a lot of temptation too, you know, to just like get closer to someone that you haven't seen, you know, in a while. I mean, I would give a lot to be able to just put my feet in the sand and just let the water just rush over. For me, that's very calming. Personally, I'm going to just wait until it's all safe to do so here. I'm not going to cross state lines to do anything like that.
Right, you have to remember we're under a stay-at-home order still, which means non-essential travel is not allowed, so you can't just be packing up and going to the beach if you have no reason to. All right, we're going to break, but remember we are live on Facebook. We'll see you in the comment section.
Hi, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie. Hi there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Hello, mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Hi there, mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
The 2,000 face masks here. Step up closer. Here? Okay. Yeah. The 2,000 face masks at the United Way were gone in less than an hour into the pickup.
Hey, mic check. It is very windy, just FYI.
It is time for my 2 cents. You've been hearing about the coronavirus for a couple of weeks now, and in that short amount of time, you've consumed a ton of information. I'm talking more than a college course load dropped on you in a matter of days. Even as a journalist, it's hard for me to keep up on what I'm supposed to be doing. Don't wear a mask, wear a mask. Groups no larger than 50, groups no larger than 10. Don't go to work unless you have to go to work. Oh, and don't go out unless, of course, you need to go out. I feel like I'm in some kind of information cyclone that picked me up and dropped me off at a conclusion, only to pick me back up and drop me off on the complete opposite side of it. What is happening? Here's the thing. Nobody knows everything about this virus. It's new. Even though the world's brightest minds are spending days in labs studying every single part of this thing, they still don't know all that there is to know. As they learn more and share it with the public, we adapt and we change, and yes, that leads to mixed messages and information overload. Oh, how I wish this virus came with a manual that we all got on day one to tell us exactly what to do. But since it doesn't, here's my advice. If you're feeling overwhelmed, think about something else. Try to clear your mind. And make sure you're checking sources that you trust. That's a big one. Make sure you're getting reliable information. And everything you see on the internet, well, you know, what we're dealing with, it's a lot. And for me, at times, it's too much. We have to protect ourselves from getting sick, yes, but we also have to protect our sanity. That's my 2 cents, and that's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5. It starts now.